I just wanted to do a little rundown on Elizabeth Warren, and it seemed like she was kind of caught in a bit of a lie recently. She had given a rally or a speech in Atlanta, Georgia, and that rally was interrupted by some pro charter advocates, which I think they were actually funded by like Walmart or Coke or something like that. So it's basically, just an AstroTurf movement trying to privatize schools, but that's beside the point. So after this event was over, one of those people had went up to her and asked her if her children had attended private schools, because that's what this person had heard, is that Elizabeth Warren's children had attended private schools. Elizabeth Warren said, no, my children attended public schools, which isn't exactly true. I guess her son, after the 5th grade, attended private school. So obviously that's a bit of a lie, a bit of an error, and not very honest. And if she ends up being the Democratic nominee, should be Bernie Sanders. But that's besides the point. If she ends up being the Democratic nominee, these type of gaffes or blunders would just be easy pickings for Trump and the Republicans to kind of castigate her in the role as the, liberal, coastal, elite type of person who says, you shouldn't have the choice in where your kids go to school while they are sending their kids to, very expensive private schools in Texas. So it just, a better response would have been from her would be, yes, when my children, my son did attend private school for a number of years, and I definitely was very privileged to be able to send him there. What I want to work to create in the United States is high quality public education, K through 12, as well as, universal college, which she doesn't support. Again, support Bernie. But she could have said something like that, I support developing, the best educational system in the world that works for everybody, no matter where you live, no matter your income, no matter your zip code, no matter your ethnic or racial background, any of those things, wherever you live in the United States. I want to make sure that every child and family has access to high quality education, and I was very privileged to be able to send my child to a expensive private school, but I want to create conditions where that's not necessary, where everybody is able to get a high quality public education. So again, just another kind of example of her not being completely honest, or not really able to answer tough questions in a very logical or forthright way. Another example to this from Elizabeth Warren was when she had that I believe it was an environmental justice panel with Amy Goodman of Democracy Now! There's also another facilitator of that, and Amy Goodman, I think it was the last question on the summit, asked Elizabeth Warren, Iowa and New Hampshire are two of the whitest states in the United States, and they play a huge role because they're the first primary and caucus states. Should we maybe, think about doing that any differently, or maybe mixing that up a little bit? And Elizabeth Warren was like, oh, I'm just a player in the game. I'm not going to criticize Iowa or New Hampshire. It's like, no, as a lot of other people pointed out, a reasonable response to that question that Amy Goodman posed, a very reasonable question, it should also be noted, would be to say something to the effect of, I really obviously appreciate the voters in Iowa and New Hampshire. They take their jobs very seriously and they play an important role, but yes, that is something that I should do some more research on, or something I haven't really thought about, but it is a really important question, and we need to make sure that the process of nominating the Democratic candidate for president has the support of a wide range of people throughout the country, and not just from populations that are mostly white, something like that. So it's again, she doesn't really appear to stand up well to these hardline or even like pretty softball questions in a lot of ways, and just kind of gets tripped up with trying to be trying to please everybody, or just trying to be the perfect politician, when she kind of, which makes her, to me at least, come across as kind of just out of touch and using that political speak, as opposed to Bernie Sanders. When you ask him a question, no matter the topic, he's going to give you the answer that he truly believes in, and this is echoed through his decades of public and political life, or his stance on issues, let's say for Medicare for All. He's advocating for that back in the 1980s, when Elizabeth Warren was still a Republican. So, like Michael Brooks and many others say, we don't have a choice. It's like it's Bernie or nobody else. If we're really concerned with transformative change, both in terms of our domestic policy as well as foreign policy, Bernie's the only choice. Peace.